She didn't recognize you. I had that little leaf that you sent me, the olive branch. Remember that? Is she doing good?
Oh, she is doing incredible. She could be talking.
In fact, I still have it next to my St. because it had the little, send me your text and I'll send you a little picture of it. So when you walk in my house, in fact, that olive branch is probably still there. It's crumbled and stuff. Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah. Sí, tú. ¿Todo está bien?
¿Todo bien?
Qué bueno. Qué bueno. Todo sí. Trabajando con las manos, escarbando, con las. Yeah, just working hard. Remodel the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got my trailer every morning. I have my cup of coffee. Away I go. Oh.
Wow.
Instead of a hat, just get a towel, wet it, put it over my head. Looks like from Arabia. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I still have, she sent me an olive branch statue. I still have it in my house. It's right next to my grandmother's thing. It's a memento. So, but I would, if I can get an email, I'll take a picture of it and send it. Not an email, but a text. But yeah, I don't do a lot of emails.
Oh, fine.
She looked familiar, I couldn't recognize her. She looks familiar, and I didn't recognize her.
Your pen.
Got the same one.
Is everybody ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Gentlemen, ready? Okay, where are we?
Page 2.
We'll now have the adjournment of closed session. Can I have a motion?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, the time is now 7:12. Let the record show. Open session will now convene, and can we have the Pledge of Allegiance? And this is, and I'm sorry, there are a million papers up here. So who is? Here you go. Casey Elementary. I got it. Casey Elementary School. We have a full school board meeting, but first let's begin with Pledge of Allegiance, led by Casey Elementary School 5th grader Jordan Cummings.
Please stand, place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you. And now selected students from teachers Mrs. Charbutton and Mrs. Chapman's 5th grade classes and Mrs. Cullen's third grade class will be reciting a poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson that is patriotic in its tone. The poem is called A Nation's Strength.
A Nation's Strength by Ralph Waldo Emerson. What makes a nation pillars high and its foundation strong? What makes it mighty to defy the foes that ran it throng? Not gold, but was meant to make a people great and strong. Never for truth and honor's sake, stand fast and suffer long. Brave men who work while others sleep, who dare while others fly. They build a nation's pillars deep and lift them to the sky.
I used to recite. Very good. Very good. Nice job.
Thank you to the parents and the guardians and teachers of Casey Elementary, Principal Mrs. Johanna Cuellar and Assistant Principal Ms. Terry Helstead for coordinating our wonderful students' presentations. Go Cougars! Next, we'll have our report out of closed session.
Thank you, Madam President. The Board of Education denied the request for a leave of absence for classified employee number 1797237, September 26, 2017 through May 31st, 2018. The roll call vote was unanimous.
Thank you. There have been some changes to the agenda. It has been brought to the attention that 2 items on the agenda need to be amended. The cost of item reference number K 7.1 was renegotiated and reduced as indicated on the revised board item. Copies of the revised item are available on the counter in the lobby. Also on page 11 of the agenda, item K12, the word reinstatement was misspelled. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we'll have the presentations from the National Junior Olympics Boxing Competition Champion, Kenny Labados, Kelly Elementary School. Oh, it's an actual presentation. Oh, Jesus Christ, superstar. Kenny. You're Kenny. Good to meet you, sir. So you're gonna go stand. You don't have to adjust the mic. Oh. We've got something fancy here now. Don't be okay. Now I'm scared. Okay. Pronounce your name for me. Labados. Okay. So Kenny Labados looks and acts much like an ordinary elementary student in Rialto Unified School District. But get him in a boxing ring and the passion of a raging prize fighter will appear. In this case, in the form of a local, regional, state, and national champion. And all accomplishments through the tender age of 10. Yay, Kenny! Born in the city of San Bernardino to mother Sofia Dominguez and father Raymond Labadas, who are both here tonight. You want to stand, parents? Yay! Yeah. You want to stand? Oh, you're like, no. Oh, don't stand close to him. He wants to have this all by himself, he said. No. Okay, Kitty also has 4 siblings, brothers Raymond, who attends Rialto High School, Anthony, who attends Jehu Middle School, and 2 sisters, Ariana, who attends Kelly Elementary School, and Araya, who attends Myers Elementary School. Kitty began boxing when he was 7 years old. He says, "I chose boxing because it kept me out of trouble." He began boxing for fun, but then when he began to compete, his talent and ambition soared. Kenny is a 2-time blue and gold champion, a 2-time Desert Showdown champion, and the current United States National Junior Olympic Boxing champion, ranked number 1 in the United States for 10-year-olds, 70-pound division. All right. Kenny, well, we got some battles here. You can fight for us. Yeah. Kenny was asked who his favorite boxer is, and he replied, Floyd Mayweather, because I like his style and I want to be able to compete like him one day. But I'm not limited. I also like to play basketball in my free time. So great. This 10-year-old whose long-term goal is to go pro one day described his love for his this 336-year-old sport that was first invented in 1681. He said, I want you to say it. Go ahead. You want to come read it? I really need to find my glasses. That's why I'm letting you read. But
Boxing gives me a sense of confidence in myself. He replied, I looked up to Haikal, my big brother, Rashawn Thomas, who is a boxer at the gym with me.
Excellent, excellent.
Rashawn's over there.
So where's Rashawn?
He's right there.
Rashawn, oh, Rashawn, he's a mentor, yay. So Kenny, the Rialto Unified School District is extremely proud of your sheer determination and impressed by your self-motivation that we do believe you will lead in being one of the greatest in your profession. The board and the superintendent also wish you the best after your studies and know that we will always be your fans. So congratulations, young man. And this is a presentation of your plaque. And we're going to go right out there and take a picture with the family. Let's scoot all out there. So Mom and Dad, you can come up there as well. One with you and him real quick. Oh, the president. And then come on, Dad. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And then let's have. Where's Mom and Dad? We're going to go right now. Right up here, Ken.
See LaShawn up here.
Yep. Yeah, where's the mentor? Come on, mentor. Good job. Yeah.
Come up here, LaShawn.
Oh, where's the president? Yeah, all family. Come on, fam. Where's any family here? Please come up.
You know what? I'm going to take this away from you for the picture because you know how you're going to pose, right? You know how you're going to pose? Yeah, show us this.
How about all of you pose like that? Can we get a little bit closer? Yeah, let's get a little bit closer. Sorry. One. Look right up right here, if you please. There you go. There you go. 1, 2. You two are playing. 1, 2. And one more. Okay.
Miss Joffrey, we all need a copy of that picture so when he becomes
Right.
pro, we can all say we were in a picture with him.
I just want tickets to Vegas. Okay, just. Okay,
Hey,
so
hey,
our next.
excuse
Go
me.
ahead.
Hey, Champ, can we get you to sign those pictures?
Right. Next presentation will be our College Readiness Block Grant presentation by Kelly Bruce, Lead Innovation Agent, and Edward D'Souza, PhD, Lead Academic Agent, Math, Science, and College and Career Pathways.
Good evening, President Walker, Superintendent Avila, and distinguished board members. I'm thrilled to be here to share with you the College Readiness Block Grant, an updated plan. I can tell you right out of the chute, I'm not going to be near as engaging or as exciting as Kenny, a prize boxer, but we'll do our best. As you know, the block grant, the primary purpose is what I'm going to highlight here. The primary purpose of the block grant is to increase the number of students who enroll at institutions of higher education. And then the very important point is and complete an undergraduate degree within 4 years. So we're looking at not just students getting into college, but students attaining their dreams, winning their fight in a sense to get that degree and be able to move forward with their lives in a very meaningful way. Thanks to the board, it was originally approved. It's a 3-year grant, and so you approved it last year after seeing it on November 16th, and then approving it on, I believe, Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th last year. And so what we've done this year is we've taken a look at the 7 criteria. So I wanted to make sure you had in your hands a copy of the 7 criteria. And so what we're doing is we're taking a look at, we've spent about a third of the grant since the 3-year grant, and now what we're looking at is how do we refine and how do we make sure that it's aligned with the 7 criteria. And so we've done that component. We've brought together all the high school principals, which has been fantastic, so that they could share their input about our use of the funding for the College Readiness Block Grant. And we tried to come up with what's going to help district-wide in terms of being able to measure and monitor how our students are doing, not just by school site, but also by our various subgroups and our various stakeholder groups. And so putting our minds together, the collective we came up with the need to follow how our students are doing once they leave our system as high school graduates. And so our number 1 item is to purchase a tracking system. We're going to be looking at what's referred to as the National Student Clearinghouse, and it gives data for us on all our kids at each of our high schools and the district as a whole for how they're doing up to 6 years later. And so I think we're going to find some lessons from that data. The second item is taking a look at students entering high school very intentionally, forging those 4-year plans for them for their destination. How they want to catapult from graduation into their future needs to be mapped out with what they do, and that's going to be through the vehicle of a 4-year plan. So our counselors, when we spoke with them, they were on board with assisting with those intentional 4-year plans for entering freshmen. So we're kind of bookending. The top one is when students are leaving us, and then the bullet below is when students are entering into the high school arena. We also know that we need to identify a college and career planning tool. And so, providing the options for students when they're in middle school to start thinking about their future is really important, and then being able to follow those pathways when they enter high school. So we're looking at a tool referred to as Naviance. It does integrate with a student management system. We're looking at another tool called CCGI, the College and Career Guidance Initiative, which is californiacolleges.edu. It helps with college applications to the Cal State system and makes the life of a high school counselor much easier. And I think looking at those 2 tools, if we select one, the idea is for us to develop our own online tool over time with the best features about that particular program. Our 4th area is we know that if we look at our A through G, the idea is to find out, is it an access issue where students aren't being signed up for the correct courses, or could it be that students are having difficulty with not passing a class and they need more support structures? We know that that's going to change at every school, every year, with each letter of the A through G alphabet, and so we are contracting with Riverside County Office of Education. It is an item in your board packet this evening so that we can get this audit process done in a very meaningful way. And so again, more to just kind of take a look at the current reality and change the future outcome. Moving to the second area of, again, district update with all the high schools, the district leading this portion of it. We really believe in that vertical articulation between middle and high schools. So when students know what they want to do, we want to make sure that the matriculation patterns follow their desire and their parent or guardian's desire for where they want to go. And so knowing those pathways into high school is very important. Some students come to high school with some deficits. And so the idea is in the summer between 8th and 9th grade, because we know that 9th grade is often a falling off point, to provide them with the supports they need to be ready first day of school in high school. And so we're looking at a bridge program, again, for that purpose. I can't say this enough. We're going to be as good as our monitoring. So what we really want to do is we want to make sure that whatever we put down here, we're able to monitor to see the progress. And so my hope is to be able to share with you along this journey how we're doing with each one of these bullets. An area, and I say explore because I think this would take stakeholder buy-in, but we're looking at building on student strengths. Some students are extremely strong in the Spanish language. And so the idea is perhaps doing a 2-year program in 7th and 8th grade and looking at AP Spanish language in the 8th grade, have success with passing a high school AP course as an 8th grader, and then riding that momentum into high school and translating from Spanish into English or other areas. And that's a really strong model out of Texas. And in California, it's being used in the Rialto School District. So I think we can talk and learn more about that. But that's possibly an area that might really assist our students in their academic trajectory. The next bullet is on partnerships with community and post-secondary partners. The clearinghouse data, what it's going to tell us is where do our students land? What actual universities and community colleges and trade schools do they go to? Once that takes place, our idea is we don't want summer melt. We don't want students their senior year to say, hey, I'm going to Cal State San Bernardino, and then not show in the fall and have that be a missed opportunity. So what we're learning is we can strengthen the partnership. The idea is once we know and are able to show where our students attend, we've developed the partnership and we try to provide wraparound services. And I guess what I mean by that is in the summer, we help them with the contact at Cal State San Bernardino or any other community college or public institution, post-secondary ed. And the idea is they know who to go to for financial aid, who to go through for housing, and we onboard them into the university system so that they're comfortable. What I find is when students don't attend, it often has nothing to do with the academics. It's their first generation, and they just don't know how to navigate that post-secondary system. So we're really looking forward to partnerships with the colleges our kids attend. And then the last is we want to make sure that it's pervasive, part of our culture. So I'm really excited about the UCAN, but I think you can't overdo how many fairs you have for parents and for kids because you never know when they're going to walk up to a table and find this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do, and they make a relationship with that university or that trade school. So we want to host college fairs here to the extent possible, and again, just inform parents and students about all the options that are available. So again, that's a lot, but that's what we talked with the principals about in terms of the district contribution to the Readiness Block Grant. I also know that sites are unique, and so principals do a marvelous job of expressing the need for their students, and it's part of their school culture. So I'm going to kind of transition there. I'm not going to hit every bullet, but I'm going to try to pick maybe 3 for each school so you can kind of see how this worked. Carter High School, when I talked to Dr. Chavez, I believe she may even be here this evening, but she had talked about her Scholars program and the field trips. And so we know we do a lot of field trips with AVID. Anytime you can get students on a college campus, it's a wonderful opportunity for students to build their dreams. So I really like that. In the middle there, she has her Link Crew program, Cost for Academic Peer Mentoring. Sometimes, I don't know, I've learned that my own kids don't want to listen to me, but they'll listen to a peer. And so what I really like is pairing student with student through the Link Crew. And so the idea is use the funding for something that's really working. And then if you look towards the bottom, it's provide extra duty time for teachers to write elective and CTE courses that are A through G approved. Many of those courses are rigorous, they're meaningful, and they're relevant. If we get A through G approval as well, it's a win-win because now they're both college and career. So those are 3 from Carter High School, and at your leisure, you can read the additional ones that Dr. Chavez has put in place. If you look at Eisenhower High School, Mr. Sparks he's focusing on his Ivy Academy, and so again, taking those students on field trips. He is also looking at college counselor visits to other schools and programs, so I think what he's looking at is best practices for his counselors who are extremely busy with how to streamline their college counseling, and so visiting other schools and programs is useful. And then the other area that he has is at the bottom there, provide time and resources to develop additional honors and AP courses. Anytime you can find a student who wants to do college level work in high school and demonstrate college level work through an assessment or some sort of articulated agreement, we know they're truly college ready. And so those are 3 from Eisenhower. Again, more for you to look over at your leisure. But if I go to Rialto, this was working with Mr. Ayala. What I loved about his was bullet number 1. If we don't provide the right course offerings for kids, it's really hard for them to get done what their dreams and aspirations are. So he wants to really focus on master schedule training for all of his counselors and administrators to make sure that the offerings are there for the students. I haven't mentioned PSAT, but I will now. Many of the schools are deciding to do it not just at 1 grade level, but at two grade levels. Now that there's the empirical backbone from the College Board, what I like is if you took it as a 9th grader, you should see progress by the 11th grade. And that's the year where it really counts in terms of preparation for the SAT. So I like to watch a cohort moving up, and many of our sites are adopting 2 levels for PSAT. And then I guess the last area for Rialto is he wants to do that tutoring for students after school and Saturday for AP, ACT, and SAT. So again, that college level work, more personalized with extra time so that they get that extra support and tutoring. So those are 3 for Rialto. Then last, when I spoke with Mr. Luna for My Learns to Panic, he had talked about AVID training for all certificated staff. So what I loved about that is adopting Wicker, taking a look at Cornell note-taking, using the AVID tutorology, and really enhancing the rigor for those students so that they're able to have their dreams, be able to pursue their dreams and not have remediation issues. So I loved his AVID strategy. He, bullet number 4, create a family-friendly event that encourages pupils and their families to explore college and career opportunities, applications, and financial aid. I was out there for the back to school night and I saw 2 community colleges on the campus and also the military represented, and so he's already started that endeavor, which is fantastic. And then what he's looking at purchasing, the second to the last bullet, purchase needed technology to support student research and applications for college and career. So again, make it user friendly. He's doing a lot of one-to-one devices on that campus, so use the technology for students to forge their plans into post-secondary ed or college and or career. And so with that, that covers the 3 comprehensive high schools, Myler and Zupanik in the district office, and I'm leaving it to you for questions you might have about the updates to the College Readiness Block Grant.
Is the district going to pay for all the things that the principals would like to have at their campus?
Yes, you know, I didn't start with the amount of money, and so I'll kind of tell you what we ended up with was we had $959,000 for the 3-year grant. Right now we're at $639,489, so that's for 2 more years. They will probably need to prioritize, and we'll be monitoring it. But we're giving them the discretion at the site level to prioritize, and at the district I've shown you pretty much the big endeavors that they've agreed to. Great question.
Any other questions?
No.
I had a question in reference to, you mentioned identifying and implement a web-based program to, oh no, that wasn't it. Oh, right. To identify individualized high school 4-year plans.
Yes.
Will this, when they actually do the plan, is this going to be, are you looking at it being responsive for students when they fall out of line on their 4-year plan, meaning if they get a D or F in a class and are no longer on the 8th year, is it going to be responsive? Are you looking at that?
No, terrific question. The idea is when you enter as a 9th grader, the idea is to work with the parent and or guardian and the student. Hopefully we have interest inventory so we kind of have an idea what they want to do. And then they put together a purposeful 4-year plan. The idea is they take the courses on the campus with a counselor with them, and they go ahead and just do pull-down menu, and they pick what they're going to do for 4 years. Once that takes place, the beauty of it is we can monitor. So the counselor can look at when's it starting to hit maybe a D or an F, where that could have a negative impact on their ability to complete that pathway, so we can intervene quickly, as opposed to maybe seeing credit deficiency too late where we have to repurpose the dream. So the idea is to be able to, once you build the 4-year plan, the next step, you're absolutely right, is how good are we at monitoring it, you know, to get students right back onto that plan, unless the parent and the student change their mind and want to go a different direction.
Okay, so we are looking at then, the web-based plan for it to be responsive to the student's actual academic performance.
Absolutely. You know, I believe right now what we're doing is we're doing pretty much year-to-year scheduling of kids. So you're a 9th grader, end of the year, counselors meet, okay, let's talk about 10th grade, end of the year, let's talk about 11th grade. The idea here is we're going to have fidelity to the plan unless something changes in terms of the aspirations of the students, and now we monitor to see how they're doing on their plan.
My next question was just an explore the bullet under explore Spanish language pathway for native speakers,
right,
transitioning from middle school to high school, and you said this was it had already been it's already been done in Texas, and then you said Rialto.
No, I'm so
And then
sorry.
I was like, well, why are we doing it again, Mr. Bruce?
I misspoke. I apologize for that. It's actually Riverside.
In Riverside.
In Riverside.
Okay.
So they give an assessment for kids moving into 7th grade for that particular program, and then it's a 2-year program, 7th and 8th. But the capstone really is AP Spanish language in 8th grade.
Okay. Okay. And then my last question was on the CGI software.
Sure.
So the planned software. So literally, I was just in a conversation with the director for the Inland Empire yesterday.
Oh, terrific.
And I asked who in San Bernardino County was a part of it. And there are only 3 districts in San Bernardino County who are actually partners in CCGI, and we're not one of them. So she asked me to call her and get a, who was the contact for our district. So who's that?
It will be me.
That
I
would
would
be
love
you.
to reconnect. I have worked with them before. They kind of came in and they're looking at doing even pathways with career technical education, which is terrific.
Okay.
Our counselors usually really like it because when students are going to apply to the Cal State system, they can monitor their entire caseload, you know, how the status of the application. And so it makes life a lot easier for high school counselors. And so that we're bringing in both Naviance and CCGI,
Okay.
putting it in front of the counselors because they're the practitioner, and I kind of want to see what one resonates most with them, but that's the plan, to put
And
that
then,
in front of them.
just in reference to CCGI, about the cost.
Yes.
So just being very mindful of, instead of, getting really sucked in with the idea and it's great and everything, just to make sure that we don't get sucked in without really weighing the costs. Because
Okay.
it's,
No,
it's
fantastic.
good,
Right.
but yeah, so just, that was my only concern.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
definitely look at that. And again, the idea is, even if we did contract, the idea is to build our own. But instead of trying to come up with it from the ground floor up, it's a lot better to take a look at the product and figure out what features and benefits do we like, what would we change, and then work with IT and try to figure out how we might develop our own over time.
Excellent. Any other questions? Mr. Ayala?
More of a comment than a question.
Yes.
The word synergy comes up to mind when I think of our kids getting ready for college. And when I think of the word synergy and how I would apply it would be in partnering with other students. And I know this is not a formal bullet point, but the sooner the kids can find somebody that they can partner with and share their ideas, and all of a sudden things come together, they become stronger, they help each other, they get to know each other's families, they pick the same colleges, they maybe have the same dorm, they find jobs together. I only say this from experience with my grandkids. Two of them recently have entered college, and they have found partners. We've gotten to know their families, and it just makes things stronger. Even from the unfamiliar, where they go to an area that's new to them, it's safer, they're more confident. The sooner we can instill with our kids that it's okay to have partners, it's okay not to try to do it by yourself, you're going to be surprised how they'll bloom and move a little faster. It's not a formal bullet, but it's something that can be discussed.
Appreciate that insight, most definitely.
Sure.
It's kind of amplifying Link Crew, but into
Sure.
the post-secondary, so that's great recommendation.
Sure.
We will work on that.
Ms. O'Kelly?
Yes, on the same note, one of the problems at most high schools is a high failure rate with the freshman class.
Yes.
And often there's so much failure that it knocks them out of even attempting a college entrance because they can never seem to make up the credits that they lost. I love Link Crew. I think it's one of the best programs out there. Are we addressing that situation with the students that are not doing well in ways with Link Crew, but any other ways? I mean, do we have? It's a big problem, and it, when they're a junior and they've only earned 25 credits, they're pretty much giving up.
It was a wonderful principal and head counselor meeting that we had last week, and so part of the area, I know that we're working on RTI, different in the different tiers, and one of the discussions came up about how are we doing with benchmarks in terms of units. So at the first semester of the freshman year, how many units should be attained, and what do we do if they haven't attained them? And that comes into your grading issue.
Right.
We never wanted to have tell a student that, hey, because you had a difficult time the first semester of your freshman year, we need to repurpose your goal.
No.
The idea is to identify it early and support the student.
Right.
And so what I appreciate is that we are having those conversations,
Okay.
and we're working probably through an RTI process to be able to provide those real-time supports.
I think that sounds great.
Thank you. Dr. Abel.
Dr. Avila?
And also, attached to that, Ms. O'Kelly, just know that we are also looking not only at the DNF rate at the high schools and secondary, but also at the grading policy that I know will make an impact on those ninth graders. But really, ninth graders don't fail in ninth grade. It starts in middle school.
Right.
And so we're looking, as you know, we're looking at doing everything that we need to do to transform the middle school so they can look very different from what they look like now, 2-3 years out. We know we're going to be able to head off the problem then. And by the time the third grade reading goal catches up, it should make life a lot easier for everybody, where we can explore other avenues for kids to grow in. But really the focus for ninth grade begins in middle school, and we're going to start that process this year.
Okay, great.
Any other questions or comments?
I do, but I'll say that's good.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you.
And thank you for the team for putting all the information together and the great work that's happening at our schools. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we'll have comments from the floor. At this time, any person wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes. Do we have any?
We do. First, we have Tina Sanchez.
Good evening. My name is Tina Sanchez, resident of Rialto. I would like to start by thanking the superintendent and the board for the addition of our third counselor, security officer, and assistant principal that have been added to our staff. Also for flying the position of crossing guard that we needed for so many years. However, I would like to say that the need has always been here for more than 2 years, but you didn't provide the assistance to our previous administrator. The previous administrator put the safety of our students first. He was the extra security officer, counselor, and all administrators. What message is the board sending? Were Mr. O and the other administrators the poster children for the superintendent and the board members' decisions? If this happened to a 23-year veteran, it can happen to any employee that the board or superintendent wants eliminated. What is it going to take for the district to be consistent and fair to all administrators, employees, and adhere to fair labor practices by providing support, training, and due process to all? I'm not okay with the district practices of subjectively covering all the bad practices and consistently moving or keeping ineffective administrators hidden under the carpet, then choosing who they want to expose when it's convenient to their personal agenda. I ask that a policy be put in place for all at-will employees so that administrators are not faced with unfair, subjective, and unjust termination or demotions. I currently feel like I'm experiencing retaliation in part by the district for speaking at the board meetings, but that will not stop me from continuing to attend the board meetings and expressing what a lot of employees are afraid to express. Thank you for your time.
Jorge Rivera.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Avila, board members. I come once again before this body, hoping that something could be done. It's been close to 6 weeks now. My son is not getting any services. Services that are dire to his disability, that are dire for him to be able to function. And we're talking about special ed department. It's been close to 6 weeks and we see nothing. He's getting this, 0. Now, we have spoken, I've been speaking about this for so long, for maybe a long time, for years now. There was a period in time when this stopped. This practice was stopped. And trying to spend precious dollars that should be going to our children instead of hiring legal counsel to provide a way out of services. So is this what we're turning back to? Is this what we're going back to now? That's the reason why this community got up and spoke, and they said no more of that practice will be in this district. And it seems that it's about to start again. So I really hope that someone's listening. My son is getting 0 services. If the district decides to put a family through due process, some of you guys may or may not know, it is about $180,000 to put up a family through due process, money that comes out of the coffers from the district or SELPA or whatever, but those are funds that could be used for cheaper services for our students. The special ed department, those children that are being served by this district should be getting the services that they need. Should be getting the services that they need. And those funds should be used for the appropriate services and not for legal counsel. And I really hope that I'm being heard, because this community is great. Our children are great. They deserve it. Even though they're special ed, nonetheless, they deserve it. They are great. They're great children. They are wonderful to our community, and they should be, treated as they should, and their rights should be respected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alejandra Rivera.
Good evening, board members and superintendent. I'm here as a parent of a student who's eligible for special education services, and I'm here to express my concerns. After our last IEP meeting, which, by the way, the district continued 3 hours after the time described in our IEP meeting notice, which is the written notice we get regarding the time and date of our meetings. Obviously, the meeting continued without our presence there and without our input and collaboration, which the whole process is intended for it to be a team approach and a collaborative process. After that meeting, we have attempted numerous times to contact and meet with district employees and personnel and attempt to resolve this matter at the local level. And we've really reached out in order to do that, because our son is the one who's losing. He's the one in the middle of this whole situation. So fair hearings should be a parent's and the district's last resort. That should be the last resort, not the first option. We disagree. We should try to resolve the matters. And at this moment, like my husband just mentioned, our son is receiving no services. I want to ask the district to please reinstate my son's services until we can come to a resolution. And my priority as a parent, obviously, is my son's health, safety, and overall well-being. So please do what's right in the best interest of the students. That's the reason why I believe you're in education, because you're in this for the students. So I want to make that petition to the district. Thank you for your time.
Janet Basurto.
Good evening, members of the audience and esteemed board members. My name is Janet Basurto. I was a student board member for the 2008 and 2009 school year. Since I've left, I've graduated from George Washington University with 2 bachelors in Middle East Studies and International Relations. I've lived in Egypt, Jordan, Morocco, and Kenya. I've also learned Arabic, and now I live in Cyprus, in the Mediterranean island. And I've been visiting the US for a few days, and I thought it was incredibly important to come back to a place that taught me so much. And as far away as I am at the moment, I continue learning and hearing about the amazing things that have been happening at the Rialto School District, including the 3 years that the district has earned the state, national, and regional roles and medals, including from my alma mater, Garcia Elementary School, JQ Middle School, and Rialto High School. I've also learned that the district celebrated its 125th year last September, so I hope to earn those many years as well. And also mentioning that I've been visiting the U.S., I was brought in to support in the relief of Hurricane Harvey. I was in Houston for the past couple of days, and a few months ago I was also in Iraq supporting the humanitarian support for the liberation of Mosul. And I wanted to share that with you to know that this district continues fostering and providing incredible amounts of education, incredible amounts of support for its fellow peers. And I hope that continues. And also, Superintendent Avila, I've been hearing great things about you, and as a Latina, my family and I are incredibly honored as you're the first Latino superintendent of the district. So once again, I'm incredibly honored to be here, and I just wanted to come back and share good things. Thank you.
Celia Zelaya.
Ay, María Purísima.
Póngalo de este ladito.
Buenas noches, miembros de la mesa directiva.
Good evening, members of the board.
Presidenta Miss Walker.
President Ms. Walker.
Superintendente Dr. Ávila.
Superintendent Dr. Avila.
Audiencia.
And audience.
Soy Celia Zelaya Sarabia.
I am Celia Zelaya Sarabia.
Represento al grupo de apoyo para padres de niños especiales.
And I represent a group of support for children with special needs.
Y esta noche queremos darle la bienvenida a nuestra directora de Educación Especial.
And tonight we want to welcome our Director of Special Education,
Miss Bridget Ely.
Miss Bridget Ely.
Sabemos que es muy profesional.
We know that she's very professional.
Que tiene mucho conocimiento de educación especial.
That she has much knowledge of special education.
Y es muy justa.
And that she's very fair.
Esperamos que todos la apoyemos.
I hope that we all support her.
Porque la necesitamos para que nuestros estudiantes
because we need her so that our students
de educación especial
of special education
tengan éxito.
Have success.
Y también apoyamos a nuestro superintendente, Dr. Ávila.
And we also support our superintendent, Dr. Avila.
Y a nuestro board.
And our board.
Por el buen trabajo que están haciendo.
For the good work that they're doing.
Felicidades para el niño Kenny Lobato.
Congratulations to the child, Kenny Lobato.
Y a sus padres por sus logros en el deporte.
And his parents for his success in the world sports.
Es un orgullo para nuestro distrito.
And he's a source of pride for our district.
Y yo también estoy muy feliz y felicito a la señorita que vino a hablar.
I'm also very happy and I congratulate the young lady that came to speak.
Porque nuestro distrito ha sacado muy adelante a muchos estudiantes.
Because our district has given us many good students.
Muy buenos profesionales.
Great professionals.
Y puedo hablar porque mis dos hijos han graduado de aquí del distrito de Rialto y son muy buenos profesionales.
And I can say so because both of my kids have graduated from here, the Rialto School District, and they're great professionals.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Oh, y a Miss O'Kelly, la última junta que estuvimos de aquí,
and Miss O'Kelly, the last meeting that we had here,
nos enteramos que estaba enferma.
We found out that you were ill.
Nuestro grupo también ha estado pidiendo mucho por usted.
Our group has also been
por su salud.
Interceding for your health.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Thank you very much.
Do we have any others? Dr. Avila, do we have any others?
No.
Oh. Next, we'll have public comments on agenda items. Any person wishing to speak on any item on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes. Do we have any?
We do not.
Okay, excellent. Next, we'll have comments from Association Executive Board members, Rialto Education Association, REA.
Right. Hi, Lisa Lindbergh, President of the Rialto Education Association. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't have to raise it up.
Oh, you don't?
We'll hear you right.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mrs. O'Kelly.
New technology.
I'm here this evening to speak on behalf of secondary counselors. Well, actually, secondary counselors are the only counselors we have in Rialto. We would love to have them out at the elementary, but this is specifically for our secondary counselors. A couple of them came to see me at my office this week. I know Katrina Patterson spoke to you last year about the needs of our students in Rialto. And the counseling profession is quite different than it was 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. There are a lot more personal issues that our kids have and need help with. There's a lot of chaos and crisis going on. Anything from relationships at home to sexual and gender identity to now immigration that they have to worry about. And so our counselors are seeing an uptick in kids who are in distress coming to their office. So I'm here to advocate for additional counselors at the secondary level. I think it's very important for our students, not only so our counselors can do their paperwork, but so we have extra counselors that can also handle all the things that our students come to school with, and that those people can handle that. So I guess I'm here on behalf of students as well. So thank you and have a good evening.
Next, we'll have California School Employees Association, CSEA.
Good evening, President Walker, the board, and guests. My name is Raquel Torres, and I'm president of the California School Employees Association. I have some information I'd like to pass out to the board members. CSEA is having their 21st annual CSEA Paraeducator Conference. I know Mr. Martinez and Mr. Montes are probably very familiar with this. They're going to be having this 2018 Paraeducator Conference will be held Tuesday, February 20th through Thursday, February 22nd at the Ontario Convention Center right here in Ontario. Last year's conference was a tremendous success, and we had more than 1,300 participants who had an opportunity to develop their skills and techniques as a paraeducator. The last couple of years, the district has paid the registration fee for the paraeducators. I believe last year we had 12 paraeducators that attended this. And this conference is designed with paraeducators specifically in mind, but open to anyone in the educational community, and offer classes for that cross over into the classifications that have daily contact with the students. The registration fee is $109 per person, and it does have a deadline, so we're hoping that the request will be honored and made available to my CSEA members. I'm hoping to let them know that the district will be willing to pay the registration fee for those that are interested. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me give this to you.
All right, next, we'll have Communication Workers of America, CWA. Do we have a representative? Oh, good.
And good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And
You can stand.
so it's good to be here. And the next time we're going to be having our union meeting, so we will not be here. So have a good next board meeting. And thank you.
Thank you.
I like your style.
Rialto School Managers Association, RSMA.
Really?
Going once, twice, and 3 times. Okay. Next, we'll have our comments from the superintendent.
Thank you, President Walker. And first, I want to recognize some of the many observations that we have in September, including Baby Safety Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, and my favorite, Self-Improvement Month. We're also commemorate Patriots Day on September 11th, and many of our schools participated in a variety of activities on that day. And thank you for those who continue to remember our fallen heroes and victims of 9/11. And now congratulations once again to Kenny Lobatos for your recognition. Students need an outlet for sure after school to be well-rounded and balanced young men and women. And I'm glad you had found yours at an early age. And Kenny, we are all very proud of you. But let me ask a question, Kenny. If anybody messes with me, can I call you up for a little backup?
Yeah.
I also want to recognize Rialto Unified School District Chief of Safety and Security, Gordon Leary, Rialto-based County Probation Officer Tasha Bruce, and teacher on special assignment, Rialto High School PBIS teacher, Ms. Laura McMullen, who will be awarded the Recognition of Service to Youth Award. This award ceremony will be held on Wednesday, October 11th, 2017, at 3 p.m. at the San Bernardino County Government Center Board of Supervisors Chambers. Congratulations for your hard work in working with our youth. This next topic is a little difficult for me, but I feel compelled to share what I'm feeling at this point in time with the board and members of the audience. I have heard in the 2+ years that I have been here, comments here and there regarding our kids here in Rialto and how compared to those in more affluent communities, they don't compare or cannot achieve. And it really breaks my heart to hear that from those who work with our kids. And so my question to you is, if you have developed the conviction that our kids cannot achieve because of their academic, current academic background, their ethnic background, their economic background, their zip code, then my question to you is, why are you working with them? If there's nothing you can do to help them because you believe they are condemned to not achieve simply because of their status of living here in Rialto, then again, why would you come to work every day to work with them knowing that you don't believe that they can achieve? Understand that ethnic background, economic background in particular, those or second language status, those are conditions. And those are conditions that can be overcome. Because otherwise, every child who is a second language learner, who is foster youth, who comes from a low socioeconomic background in any part of the country would never achieve if that were a fact. And what would be the purpose for us to work with them? And so I challenge you to help me change the conditions from barriers to bridges to make sure that every student in the Rialto Unified School District is a success story. And I believe we heard a few minutes ago from a student from Rialto who is traveling the world doing amazing things representing this community because people believed in her, and so she believed in herself. And not knowing she would be with us today, we did have her as our alumni corner for the day. So what a surprise for you to join us. Again, she stated many of the things that I wanted to share, but she comes from Rialto High School. Janet Basurto graduated in 2009. She then graduated from George Washington University with 2 bachelors, International Relations and Middle East Studies with a specialty in conflict and security relations. She is currently a global security analyst for various embassies who deal with hostile conflict zones. And again, no connection to her being here today. Very impressive, and another indication of how high our products, our students soar after graduation. We are most proud of you. And lastly, just 2 reminders. We have 2 major events coming up. On October the 14th, we have our 9th annual Parent Summit held at Rialto High School from 8 to 1 p.m., 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Many opportunities for parents to learn and interact with each other. We do have a magnificent keynote, Dr. Daniel Walker, so we hope to see you there. And on October the 19th, Cole Middle School will celebrate its 50th anniversary from 5 to 7, and we hope to see many of you there. Go Kobe.
Thank you. And we'll begin with board comments from Board Member O'Kelly.
Well, I first want to applaud what Dr. Avila just said because it is so true, and I have heard those comments from some of the people in the district, and it's totally false. I've been in this district for, well, almost 40 years now, and as a teacher, as a principal, as whatever, now board member, and I can say I feel the kids from this community are absolutely awesome. They have graduated. I cannot even begin to tell you the kids who have graduated and gone on to do great things. And yeah, a valid point. If people feel our kids can't learn for whatever reason, then they need to go to another district. We don't need them here because our kids can and do learn, and they go on to do things that make us very proud. Thank you so much for coming tonight because that is so wonderful to hear from an alumni who is doing great things. I also wanted to congratulate Kenny Lovato. What a great accomplishment at such a young age, and I wish him all the best as he pursues this. And I want to say that I feel the ideas that were presented in the College Readiness Block Grant are excellent. And I think we're going to get some things in motion that are really going to fill the gap for us in terms of how many kids go on to college and complete college. I had a kind of a stressful weekend because I have two daughters who live in Florida. And you know that Hurricane Irma hit Florida this past weekend. So I was very worried. One of them lives in the Fort Lauderdale area, and the other one lives in Tallahassee up in northern Florida. They both are fine, although we didn't know that for a couple days because they had no phone or service or power, so that was really hard for me. But if you've seen the pictures, it's just unbelievable between Harvey and Irma, the destruction. And I did some research while I was worrying about my daughters, and basically climate change is one of the big reasons why the hurricanes were getting more frequent hurricanes, and they're larger and they're more powerful because the climate change is causing the ocean water to become warmer, and that's what feeds a hurricane, is the warm ocean water. Do you know, just for example, the hurricane season for 2017 alone, 1 year, was forecast to be above average. Weather experts said we'd see 14 to 19 named storms, that are storms that are large enough to put a name on them, and 5 to 9 hurricanes during this year, during 2017. In comparison, the average hurricane season from 1981 to 2010, which is a span of 29 years, featured 12 named storms and 6 hurricanes. So you can see that we are having a definite progression. It's going to have a severe impact not only on people's lives, but also on the economy of the country because, of course, federal aid has to be provided to these people. So these are just all things to keep in mind. Last night there was a fundraiser on TV. It was on every channel, hand in hand. And in the first hour they were on, they raised almost $15 million from people wanting to donate. So it's really important everybody do what they can because, as I told my husband, there for the grace of God, but for the grace of God go we, you know. One day we're going to have that earthquake, and we are going to be depending on donations and things like that to rebuild our communities. So it was something that really hit home because I had two daughters involved, and I just wanted to speak about that tonight. And God bless all the people in Texas and Fort Lauderdale and the islands who have been affected by this horrendous weather, and we hope they can rebuild. And thank you all, and have a good night.
Thank you. Next we'll have comments from Board Member Ayala.
Thank you, President Walker. First of all, I'd like to also say a message out to Janet for taking time to coming out and visiting us and sharing her experiences. We're all very, very proud of you. And I was thinking, what else did I want to say to you? I just say, take time for yourself. Make sure that you take time, because you deserve it. You know, you deserve that. So, you know, that'd be like if I was talking to my daughter. I'd say, okay, you did a lot of good things, but it's your turn to do something for you. Okay, never feel guilty. Well, with that being said, there's a lot of great people here. Miss Elia was here earlier. We have advocates trying to help with the cause. And, you know, sometimes when I hear something, I have to comment. You know, we believe in open communication here without retaliation. I can't tell you how many times we've had board meetings and we start off with, it's okay to disagree. We're not on the same page. We bring different thoughts, different ideas, but when you start moving in the right direction, it's when you start moving your energies towards solving problems. If you're always fighting, then, you know, it's going to be hard to make progress. So I'm confident that this board and our superintendent will, you know, given enough time, will resolve these issues, and, you know, we're going to continue to move forward. So, but, you know, it takes a little bit of time, but this board and this superintendent, I can honestly tell you, they do care, and they are listening. you'll see a little bit different comment here because this was not rehearsed, but I was thinking, what did I want to say? And, you know, I think about the kids that don't go to college, okay? Myself, I'm a C+ student, not B- or A+. I was a C+ student. I've worked with my hands a lot, and that's okay. But I think of that child that doesn't get picked on the baseball team. He's on the team, but he plays the bench. What do you say to that child? What do you say to the child that doesn't go to college? What do you say to the black sheep of the family? Well, I think of the kids earlier when they were reciting Emerson. And to me, that's the best way I can answer that question. What are the signs of success? To love often. If you love often and you're being loved, who's going to argue with success? If you're out there singing with exaltation, whether you're in tune or not, who's going to argue with that one? Some people may say, can you turn it down a little bit? But you're singing freely. To endure the betrayal of a false friend, that's huge. You keep moving on. You don't condemn them. You just keep moving on. It hurts, but you know, there's another day. And how about to redeem a bad social condition? Sometimes you don't go to college, but you advocate for a cause. This is awesome. And sometimes just going in the backyard, attending to a simple garden patch, making sure that the flowers get water, and the neighbor looks over the fence and sees a beautiful garden, and you bring a smile to them. I know this sounds a little religious, but you know, to know that one life has breathed easier because you have lived is nailing it. Okay? So, I know a lot of kids are not going to make it there. Some of these kids are not going to start on that baseball team. We're not giving up on them. We just have to have something to say to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Montez.
Thank you, Board President, Ms. Dina Walker. Thank you, Mr. Ayala and Ms. O'Kelly, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, thanking Ms. Martinez. Rarely I thank you guys for your words, but I know it comes from our heart. I just want to say good evening. I want to welcome Janet back to this district. I didn't get elected to the school board till 2010, but if you were like many of the other great school board student school board members that I've had the pleasure to serve with, I'm sure they will also go on to do great things and accomplish great things like yourself. And thank you for coming back and sharing with us all of the wonderful things that you've experienced and your success. And I just want to point out, probably if you were from any other community, you would have accomplished the same thing. And the reason why is because this school district didn't make you, you made you. The school district must have helped in many ways. Many people might have helped and guided you in many ways, but you made yourself. And that's the point I want to get across really to anyone who might criticize anybody from this community or worse, the children of this community. If we're a school board member, if you're a superintendent, if you're a teacher, a counselor, if you're the lead innovation agent, whoever it is, the position doesn't make you. You make the position. Whatever our role is, whether you're a secretary or a parent volunteer, an interpreter, whoever you may be, you make that. You make that position. You make yourself. Nobody else makes you. Everybody contributes, and everybody helps, and we're grateful and we're thankful. But the children of this community, and any other community, for anyone to narrow-mindedly criticize or have a prejudice against them for whatever the reason may be is really it's really saddening to hear. And I hope that nobody ever has the courage to tell me that the children of this community or the students of this school district just won't learn or don't have the capacity to learn. Because I too am a product of this community, and so are my children and my family and friends, and along with all of the families that we represent. But I just want to remind everyone, nobody else makes you who you are. We make ourselves. You know, they have a saying, the working class people have a saying, you know, the suit doesn't make the man makes the suit. And kudos to all of the successful stories and students and lives that have come through this district and will continue to go through this district. But keep in mind that we make ourselves, and I hope that we get every opportunity to tell the children that, and tell the students of the school district that they will make their own men and their own persons, not where they come from. It doesn't matter where you come from. What matters where you're going. It doesn't matter doesn't matter who you were or what was in the past. What matters now. What matters is now and where we're going with the future. The future is more important than the past. So, with that, thank you, Dr. Avila, for bringing that up. It's been brought up a few times, and it's sad to hear that it's still, passed around or mentioned here and there. But I hope that I'm not the only one calling out anyone who engages in that type of in that type of belief, because we should call them out and tell them, you're wrong. The children of this community and of this district have just as much of chance of becoming anything they want to become in life and being just as successful as any other human being has become successful. And many great people have come from very difficult struggles and challenges in their life. So thank you again, Janet, for coming down here and sharing with us all your international conflict resolution abilities. Our board meetings are pretty peaceful, but in the past we've had some pretty challenging conflict resolution needed board meetings that we could have really utilized your expertise in. But we know that you must obviously not be too far from here. If you can still come back, you must have relatives, so visit us a little more often. Talk with our superintendent here and his cabinet. Give us some pointers. And again, congratulations to Kenny Labatos. What pride, Golden Gloves, Junior Olympic champion, Golden Gloves champion. I mean, Jesus Christ.
United States.
Yeah, number one.
Jiminy Cricket or something.
It's just, I'm a really big boxing fan, so I don't care much about any other sport. Boxing is my sport, and to see that kid smiling up there, and I wish he would have brought his belt with him, or his trophies, but it was good to see him and to see all of the wonderful talent here in Rialto, not just academically, but sportsmanship wise also. So big kudos to him, and that's all I have for tonight. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Next, we'll have comments from Vice President Martinez.
Thank you, President Walker. I really didn't know what was going to go on at this meeting, but I was just led to speak on a couple of things, but it's already been touched on. Some of the things were, and I'll start with the ones that parents can help us with. Actually, everything I'm going to talk about, parents can help us with, but in particular, attendance. At one point, we were at 98% attendance, and I would like that to be our goal. Right now we are roughly 96% attendance, and that means a $2 million loss to our children. That hurts. That could be many of the things that we say we need. So parents, I ask that you make sure your kids get to school. Make sure they are there. Them being in the seat is how we get paid. We get reimbursed by how many students are in the seat to learn. And $2 million is our loss right now, our students' loss. So I'm asking parents to help us. Get your student to school. I wanted to do a little bit of vision casting tonight. I shared it with the board, but it's really focused down to a couple of things. And I didn't know Ms. Basurto was going to be here, and she's not here right now. But
she's waving.
Yeah, there she is. There she is. Okay. You are an object lesson in just tangible as it gets. Success. I remember 10th grade. No, it wasn't. We were at Eisenhower. You were a student board member. And I asked you what you wanted to be. And I remember you saying you wanted to be an ambassador. You are on track. And that really is the point where I'm getting at. We need to start in middle school with career counseling for our students and asking them the simple question, what do you want to be? When they can answer that, they then have a goal to be a success. My board member brother here, Mr. Ayala, said, how do you define success? Well, success is something we define for ourselves. Without that definition, we're just searching and living life and wasting time, frankly. Some of them get to college and they don't finish college, or they take 6 years to finish, and it's costing money. Or they don't get to school and they're costing $2 million currently. So success, if we can get a student to say, I want to be whatever their dream is, they're going to achieve it. Without knowing what your target is, you will never achieve it. So the earlier we get students to set that goal, the better they will be, the better we will be as an educational community, because it'll be easier, because they will then be our partner, our most important partner in their success, their own success. In the meantime, what we need to do, and this is part of the vision casting, is career counseling or career centers, something in that vein in middle school. That will help them answer for themselves what their goal will be, to be a success. Again, parents, ask your student right now, tonight, if they're sitting next to you, what do you want to be? There is your answer, whether they will be a success or not. Those who say, I want to be an ambassador, they will be a success. And for those who say, well, they're too early to set their goal, well, when you're 10, 11, and 12, it's okay if you change your goal. But without a goal, you're wasting time. Your first goal needs to be set early, and we can help them do it. We are still needing to provide learning 24/7, 365. That's coming, but that has been one of my visions for our students, for our community. So, in recapping goals for students, career guidance for students in middle school, and the overarching vision that I shared with the board, continue the technology rollout for the first 3 years. We're in the middle of that. Continue with year 4, begin technology upgrade cycle 2, meaning once everyone's got their computer and the students have their computer, we need to maintain that and have a refresh rate of every 3 or 4 years and make sure that that is part of the budget out of the district budget, not the site budget. That way the principal can't say, well, I need this, then our students suffer again. We were 30 years behind when we started this 8 years ago. Not going to get there behind again. Some of the things that our current seniors can do, matter of fact, our high school, we can add digital badges. We can provide Cisco Academy. We can provide certifications in CompTIA hard work and network certifications. There are micro certifications and credentials that we can offer them or teach them to succeed with. And for our staff, to make sure that they are still relevant, that their degrees are still relevant, the way to do that is micro certifications and credentials. So how do you define success? We can help, and we need to begin that task as soon as possible. Some of it we've done, but we need to follow through. Thank you, President Walker.
Thank you. I just want to say again, thank you to Janet for coming and sharing with us your travails over the years. And I hope that while you have time, if you're home, you have time to go back to some of the schools that you went to or whatever, and just share some of your stories or whatever with other students. Because to know other people who come from where they come from, look like they look, the whole thing, and they've done all those things, right? If somebody can do it, it can be done, right? So just take that time to do that. So don't take all the time for yourself, but please do that for our students. And the other thing is for all the, for Kenny and everybody else, I'm really excited. He was so excited about his award and recognition about his boxing titles. I was excited too. I'm like, this is the first boxer I've been, and he's like, whoa, So he's thinking I was playing. I'm really like, I'm gonna follow him, because if he makes it, I'm going to Vegas with him. So who's the crazy lady up there? Miss Walker.
You got $10,000 for a seat?
Right. When he gets to that level, maybe I better start when he's like the undercard, the seventh one undercard. But anyway, so what I'd like to say is, Dr. Avila, for the comments that you made, not that I would have said that, I wouldn't have been that courageous. In fact, while you were talking, my neck started getting hot. So at this point. But I would like to say is that thank you for saying that, because if you don't believe in our students and you work here, why are you here? We have gone to great lengths to put together a strategic plan to invest money and commitment into the idea and the dreams of what the community, what the staff, the faculty, everybody has said they wanted for our district in our plan, and really taking those needs and those dreams to heart and put it into a strategic plan. So we're on our way. We're moving. We are moving. If you are not on the train, you still stand on the side of the road, we're going to pass you up. If you're on the train but you're trying to stop it, somebody need to throw them off. So
the train will hit 'em.
This is right. If you're trying to stop it, right? The old dully do right, you chain them to the fence. That's how old I am. So just to say that, we really believe in our district, and we want you, if you're here, believe in us as well. Because we cannot do this without you and everybody working in concert. I mean, everything, we're not always, as Boardman Rialto said, we don't always come in the room on one accord. We agree to disagree, but we all agree on where we're going. Right? And we work together and hear everybody's views and work to where we are going. And that's where we need you to be. I was looking on my phone, so no disrespect to anybody. I was trying to find, and because I'm not technologically savvy nor social media savvy, I couldn't find it. My mother, I was called today, and my mother actually is on social media now. And so I'm like, why? First, why is she on social media? But she is. So a friend of mine from Oakland called me and said, your mom's on social media. Yeah, she put a comment up about the fact that my nieces, she made a comment, the fact that she now has a niece, not a niece, they're my nieces, but a granddaughter at Hampton University, one of the top three, she's the top three HBCU in the country. Hampton University, one granddaughter at Syracuse, one granddaughter at Central State University in Ohio. And she was very proud, and she said, this is what food stamps, Section 8, and welfare gets you.
Oh, wow.
Granddaughters, that means this is the second generation. It's not her children. She's not talking about me and my brothers. She's now talking about her grandchildren. That even from that, coming from that, broke the cycle of poverty So that now her second generation, she's got all 3 of her granddaughters are in colleges and 4-year universities now. And she was very proud. And she said, this is what Section 8 food stamps and welfare gets you. Because the thing is that she had high expectations for her children. And high expectations produces high achievement. So if you are not in this district, think that our kids can do everything, regardless of their ability, inability, or whatever. You don't need to be here. And I am the person who champions college. Why? Because college is for everyone, and there is a college for everyone. We just have to find it. I am a stone hard believer in that, because I wasn't a C student or a C plus student. I was a, oh my God, my class is graduating without me student. I got to come back the next year and get it all worked out, right? So I believe in that 80% that nobody talks about. I believe in all those kids who have to take a second, third chance at a class just to get past it. I believe in every plan that when these teachers, when these principals put these new plans together and say, we want to have this at our campus to make something better for our students, I believe in it.
Right.
And I want this man right here who we've employed, we chose him to lead us to make sure that that happens for this district and these students. Right. And you as a staff as well. So all those folks in land up here and our community, it takes more than just us. He cannot do it alone. He has to staff who has the staff that believe in our young people. We have to have staff that believe in each other so they can work together to make this thing happen. And we have to believe in the community that they are going to help us to make this happen. And I say that now because I personally, of course, this is my quote-unquote public service, but I personally, this next week, I'm going to be working hands-on with kids to make sure that for the UCAN, that they, if it's just me working with kids to make sure those applications get ready so they can present them at the UCAN conference, I'm going to be there to help them. I like what you said. And you said if it's just one life in the world that's been touched by you, you've been successful. So I'm going to get that one next Monday. Right on. I'm going to get at least one, right? But to really understand, this is a great district. Yes, this is a great city. This is a great, we got great families, great teachers, great staff. Right. I mean, it is just, we are the bomb. Blow it up. We are really the bomb. But those who cannot appreciate that, we do have an opportunity for you to go somewhere else. Because there are many a school and many a district, or you can just relax and be at home. I say this to myself as well. Because when my time is not, when I don't believe in the mission of this district, I will leave the dais as well. I believe in it. The commitment is only that you believe in our kids. Right. And whatever your own beliefs, if you can't leave them at home, don't bring them here. Because high expectations does produce high achievement. And we want you to believe that all of our children can achieve. Thank you. Oh, and we need a picture. Janet, we want a picture with you.
And before we do
Photo-
that, President,
Oh.
I just wanted to recognize that Janet's mother is here and wanted her to stand and
The beautiful lady, yes.
congratulate you. Thank you for believing in this district.
Mom in the picture too. School district parent. Thinking of not taking a picture with the school district parent. Professional camera?
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Edith, she's currently working with
we're still the board. We need that. So, you are the other school. Congratulations.
I've never said that in Spanish. The apple didn't fall too far from the tree.
I have enough caffeine before it's working.
Oh, yeah.
Inspiration, inspiration.
Tonight's the night.
Right. Tonight's the night.
Uh-oh.
Oh, right.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I've been on vacation a little too long. I'm back. Right.
Oh, boy.
Next, we'll have the opening of public hearing. Can I have a motion to go into public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ooh, so moved.
Time
And
is
the time.
8:38.
Thank you very much. Any person wishing to speak on any item on the public hearing agenda will be granted 3 minutes. The public hearing, pursuant to the requirements of the Government Code and Board Policy, the form for public disclosure of proposed collective bargaining agreement, AB 1200, statutes of 1991, Chapter 1213, as revised by AB 2756, statutes of 2004, Chapter 25, Government Code 3547.5, between the California School Employees Association, Chapter 203, CSEA, and the Rialto Unified School Board of Education, is hereby posted in compliance with the legislative requirements for public notice. That's reference number D 1.1 through 5. Okay, nobody here to speak on?
I make a motion to close public hearing.
Quick comment.
Yes.
It is our people that make us great. And I'd like to thank all of our people, including CSEA, REA, RSMA, and CWA, and this board, superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. Did I have
Well
a second
said.
though? Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Excellent. The time is now 8:40. We're closing public hearing. Consent calendar items. All items on the consent calendar will be acted upon in one motion unless pulled by Board of Education members or the superintendent for an individual action. Do I have a motion to approve consent items, reference numbers E through J?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Do we have no other pulls? Excellent. All in favor?
Oh,
Yes?
wait a minute, I had some polls.
Okay.
H6 and H19.
H6 and H19. Okay.
I make a motion that we approve all items on the consent calendar, E through J, except for H6 and H19.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Excellent. So moved. And we'll now go into discussion for number 8.6.
Yes, I'm just wondering,
If we can we read out the item before?
No.
oh, okay.
Oh, that's my job. Approve number H6 is approve an agreement with One Circle Foundation to provide a 2-day training that will provide up to 25 participants with the knowledge and expertise to competently and confidently implement the evidence-based multi-tiered system of supports, MTSS, for behavior and social-emotional learning strategies for counsel for boys and young men programming effective November 1st, 2017 through November 30th, 2017 for a total cost not to exceed $10,500 to be paid from the general fund. That's the item.
Yes. My question is, who are the 25 staff members going to be? At what grade level? Who's going to select them? I mean, how is this going to be done?
Is that cheap?
Mr. Bruce, do we have that information?
You know, I'll be perfectly honest, I need to find out who those 25 members are, and come back to you in terms of who exactly, as far as the staff members. I know there's been work with the multi-tiered system that supports the Orange County Department of Grant.
Right.
And I know that there's been, abundance of work in that arena. But specifically, your question about One Circle Foundation, the 25, I do not have that answer at this point, but I will definitely get that.
Okay, well, it looks like something we need to approve pretty quickly if it's supposed to start November 1st,
Well,
which I don't have a problem
it
with.
says up
but
to.
I just wish a few more details were in, I read the ones in the back of the book, but it just said 25 staff members. I don't know, is this middle school, high school? How are those staff members going to be selected and blah, blah, blah?
I see that it came out of Angela's office.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's going to be out of the RTI and the PBIS.
It's the PBIS, and it's going to include the counselors and the team that Melissa Rubio has put together to implement PBIS, and they have gone out to receive training on restorative justice and training on MTSS. It's going to include that same team that's going to come back and provide the training for the rest of the participants.
Okay. Just interested in who these people are going to be and what schools they're going to be at. But we can go ahead and approve it if you could just get that information for me.
Okay, excellent. Then do I have a motion to approve H6?
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Item number H19.
Well, I just need a little clarification the way this one was.
Ms. O'Kelly, I need to read it.
Oh, that's right.
Number 19, H19 is to approve amendment number 2 with John W. Steele III, Landmark Productions, to continue to produce and record Board of Education meetings, set up, operation, and upkeep of the broadcast systems, and video record special district events as required by media services, increasing the cost of the 2-year agreement effective July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2018 from $8,000 to a cost not to exceed $20,000 to be paid from the general fund. That was H19.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I just want some clarification. We already approved a 2-year contract for $8,000 that is supposed to end in 2018. So now we're being asked to increase that to $20,000, still ending in 2018. So are we now at this point just going to pay the difference? I think this was Saida's.
Yes,
Yes.
hi, Mrs. O'Kelly. How are you?
Last time I saw you, you were over there.
I was.
Quick.
I have to be quick around here. Thank you, and it was a very good question. When we first started using Mr. Steele's production company as a consultant to save a lot of money for the district, but still get the same quality, we specifically used him for school board meetings.
Okay.
Our
Right.
district has grown, and due to the strategic plan, our emphasis is student-centered. So therefore, for instance, we have Kolb Middle School's 50th anniversary
Right.
coming up. And sometimes when we go to events, we would like to have CDs or I would say a commemorative historical piece. Before, it just used to be pictures. Now we'd like to give the schools a DVD, a copy, so that can transcend and be placed in a log for the school's history. We also have the Parent Summit.
Right.
We also have, so what happens is the funding runs out, and then we have to scramble. We were thinking that being a little bit more proactive, we may not use the entire 20 grand, but we want to not be able to keep coming to the board and asking for the money. So along with his duties for the school board meeting, he will be responsible for certain events that are student-centered.
Right, I understood all that. My question was,
Are
we paying the difference between?
Yes.
So if he's already been paid something for 2016-17, that's
And
deducted from
yes,
whatever.
and Mr. Islam is raising his hand, so I think he wants to
Mr.
speak.
Kelly, one thing, there was a mistake. It's 8,000 per year, not 8,000 for 2 years. So perhaps that was incorrect in the previous.
Okay, I was wondering. Okay, that makes
So
more sense.
we realized that was an error in our part. So we bring this. Its only difference will be $4,000.
Okay.
Right.
And Mr. John is really doing a lot of other things as under
For
Dr.
upgrading.
Avla's direction. So it is not difference between 8,000 and 20,000. It's still difference between
Right.
16
I
and.
had no problem with it because John's worth it, but
Yeah,
we just-
but so I want to make sure board understand it was 8,000 per year, not 8,000 for 2 years.
Sounds like Common
that
Core
makes more
math.
sense.
Sounds like Common Core math. 8,000 and 8,000 is 16,000. Where are you getting the 20,000 from? Or, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
It's
Right.
4,000.
Any other questions or discussion on number H19?
We got it. We're
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion passes. And then we'll go now into the discussion items.
Okay, yeah, we do those one at a time.
Discussion items, number 1, approve amendment number 1 to the agreement with Think Together Incorporated, a California nonprofit corporation, for the purpose of providing the after-school educational and safety program at 18 elementary and 5 middle schools in the district, effective July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018, with an option to renew for 2 subsequent years, payment not to exceed 100% of the grant of $2,918,126 $100 something to, yeah, that number. 0.3 cents, which includes the grant increase of $245,849.
$245,849.45.
Yes. Yes, that's it. For the 2017-18 fiscal year, and fees will be renegotiated subsequent years if the district exercises renewal options. Do I have a motion? To discuss?
Move to approve the agreement with Think Together.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second with discussion, question actually.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
Well, I know that we've got 19 elementary schools, and last year it was Fitzgerald that wasn't receiving services from Think after school.
Oh, that's right.
So what is the plan for the 19th school, and whom are they?
So we already have a plan in place. We
Yeah.
approved it a few months ago.
Right.
So we are having that service at the school through the general fund. It's tied to their strategic plan. We are still pushing efforts to get as many applicants registered to qualify for the next cycle. But in the meantime, we didn't want to wait another year without the school having those services.
Thank you.
Good. Good question.
Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Discussion item number 2, adopt resolution number 17-18-10, which declares that the GAN limit appropriations in the 2016-2017 unaudited actuals and 2017-18 budget do not exceed the limitations imposed by Proposition 4. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Item number 3, approve the fiscal year 2016-17 unaudited financial report as presented. But do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Excellent. Number 4, to adopt resolution number 17-18-11, excusing the absence of Board President Dina Walker from the Wednesday, August 23rd, 2017 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? 1, I abstain. Next, number 5, approve an agreement with Autism Spectrum Intervention Services and Training to provide applied behavioral analyst aids to assist with the current students' behavior per their individual education plan for the 2017-18 school year, effective September 14th, 2017 through June 30th, 2018, at a total cost not to exceed $160,000 to be paid from special education funds. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve with discussion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion, Ms. O'Kelly.
Well, I wish they would give us more of an idea when they write these, and I read it in the back, the
Agreed.
long write-up. How many students, this is $160,000, how many students are going to be receiving this assistance from Assist?
Here comes the Common Core math again.
So part of the response, Ms. O'Kelly, is that it's going to be as required through the IEP, so we don't know. So we have to budget that's based on past patterns and trends, so that we have hopefully enough to cover the need as the need arises, but we don't have a fixed amount, not knowing how many kids are going to need those services.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Motion passes. Number 6, approve amendment number 1 to the agreement with Yardstick Management LLC to provide 2 additional sessions of customer care staff development in the areas of communication, appreciation, responsiveness, and environment to additional district personnel from September 18th, 2017 through September 26th, 2017, with ongoing support throughout the 2017-18 school year at an additional total cost of $57,000. The previous approved amount of the agreement was $60,000, and with this amendment, the combined total cost for services is $117,000 to be paid from the general fund. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Number 7, to authorize an agreement with Bank of America Public Capital Corp. to secure financing for $11 million over 15 years with an annual payment of $962,364.08 at an interest rate of 2.8%, with payments beginning March 30th, 2019 for the project of implementing district-wide heating, ventilation, and air conditioning HVAC.
That's amended.
That's in the amendment on August,
We'll start over
Okay.
again.
No.
Yes, read this one.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna pull the numbers. This other part is not there. Okay.
You have the revised number.
Did you just hand me 2 of the same document?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's a third.
Look,
I held on to it.
I was like, okay, so thank you.
I held on to it.
Muhammad and
I saw you had one, so I figured that
Thank
I'd
you.
better not reach over.
It just confused me further. Okay. So the percentages are annual with an interest rate of 2.7%,
Yes.
with payments beginning March 30th, 2019. For the
So, the change to March 30, 2018. The payments, that's a change from previous item to
And
revised.
the amount is changed. Everything highlighted on the paper is changed.
Yeah, just ignore this one.
Okay,
right here.
thank you. So we're not reading that.
No.
So we're just going to read the actual write-up, which is in the back. Number 7, that the board agreed to an agreement with Bank of America Public Capital Corporation. Proposals for bank with interest rate of 3
Just-
point. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, just read the last paragraph. That's
Recommended that authorize the agreement of Bank of America with the Bank of America Public Capital Corp. to secure financing for $11.5 million over 15 years with an annual payment of $930,144.01 at an interest rate of 2.7 with payments beginning March 30th, 2018 for the project of implementing district-wide heating, ventilation, and air conditioning HVAC equipment, LED lighting, and energy management system upgrades. That is reference number K 7.1 revised.
Amended.
Okay.
Move to approve as amended.
That's a pretty big difference.
Yes, thank you.
That's a pretty good difference.
You're correct, because this is...
Hold on just a moment.
Sorry.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Yes.
Okay, now discussion. Yes, Mr. Montez.
Yes, Mr. Montez, this information is through continued negotiations with Bank of America, which came the lowest among the other players. I received a proposal. So this came at the 11th hour. I apologize. I have to do this with the best interest. We're saving over $500,000.
Right.
And I cannot let it go.
No. Good.
I
Thank
present
you.
this to Dr. Avila today. I said, Dr. Avila, we have to, I know I don't like to give things after the agenda is printed, but this is...
Saved us
Well,
money.
we don't mind when we're saving.
Yes. So
we don't
it's
like it when we have to pay more.
Right.
But we don't mind when we want to change. We
And
don't mind these kind of change orders.
This is, again, I keep on saying...
Good
you
job,
can do
Mohammed.
better. So 2.7 and payment went down, and I have to present to you at the last minute. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We appreciate that. So we have any other discussion questions?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. Oh, yes, Dr. Avila.
Yeah, I just wanted to publicly thank Muhammad for being Muhammad.
Right.
And being able to
Likewise.
be tenacious
Yes.
and aggressive
Yes.
and doing what he needs to do to save us money. Thank you, Muhammad.
And just because it was printed, don't hold back. We'll make an amendment and we'll change the agenda to keep saving money.
Call him again in the morning.
Right. Muhammad's gonna now have a cape in. I'm rushing in to save money. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Number 8, to ratify the tentative settlement agreement between Rialto Unified School District and the California School Employees Association, CSEA.
So moved.
Motion to,
Second.
okay, any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Number 9, to adopt resolution number 17-18-15, authorizing the filing of Form J13A and requesting approval by the County Superintendent of Schools for the emergency closure and reduction of average daily attendance for Thursday, August 31st, 2017 for Garcia Elementary, Morris Elementary, and Jehu Middle School. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Number 10, to deny liability claim number 17-18-01. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Number 11, to approve the revised college readiness block grant, $639,487 for the next 2 years with the following allotments. Carter High School, $164,514. Eisenhower High School, $165,254. Rialto High School, $185,736 for Myler Zupanik High Schools, and $23,983 and education services. $100,000 beginning September 14th, 2017 through December 30th, 2018. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Number 12, to approve the recommendations of the Administrative Hearing Panel, reinstatement case number 14-15-1. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to,
Oh, okay.
if I may, I just would like to request that we close in memory of Lupe Davalos, I believe a 20-year teacher from Cube Banks. I was lucky enough to meet Mrs. Davalos a few times and met her husband, Dr. Davalos. He was a former employee of the district here, and I know he worked with Muhammad over at San Marino City Unified, and recently last year was hired at Stockton Unified as superintendent over there. And our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family, and on behalf of this board, our condolences for the Davalos family.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Did we approve?
We
item
have
12,
not.
though?
We have not yet.
Okay.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstention? Oh, excuse me. Any opposition? No. Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes.
I have
and
something
with that-
before adjournment.
Yes.
Ms. Walker, this is a housekeeping item on item K4. It's a small difference, but consider changing your abstain to a recusal of self, because that was compensation. Yeah, just a small technicality that I don't want anybody to call us on in the future.
They should be fine with the abstention.
Me abstaining?
Just
I don't know.
change the minutes while you can.
Okay. So let their minutes reflect that I did recuse myself from the vote on
K4.
item K4. Okay.
We
Thank
could have
you.
avoided it by letting the vice president read out the item, but it's okay.
I know
Or the
brilliance
clerk.
always comes after the fact.
It's-
It
yeah.
always comes after the fact.
Well,
Yeah.
recuse you.
I recuse myself. Okay, and so you want to have a moment of silence, or?
We should have a moment of
Okay.
silence.
And so we'll take just a moment of silence in honor of Mr. Davalos. Thank you. And we'll now entertain motions for adjournment.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we are now adjourned officially at 9:02 p.m.
And we're
Thank
not going
you.
back.
We're not going back.